Tuesday, January 10th, 2023. Today I have been pondering the value of the mundane life. If there is such a thing as the butterfly effect, where the flutter of the butterfly's wings in one part of the world could affect weather patterns, even tornadoes in another part on the other side of the globe, then perhaps the mundane life so too might have such an effect. If the mundane tasks are carried out in full attention and awareness to the quality and temperament in which it is carried out, that is, with care, attention, reverence, kindness, joy, etc., could this change or affect the pulse of the universe? Wednesday, January 11th, 2023. In the whole grand scheme of things, do we really matter? Think of it. The whole grand scheme of things is a pretty huge thing. Since the time of the Big Bang and all of the universes that were created and are out there, do you really matter? If there is or was another being somewhere way, way out there, would you register on their radar? I think not. All that said, why do I play small in this gift of life? Why do I make excuses, apologize, worry about what others think? Why do I play the game by the rules that others in society have set out? Instead, I should show up fully, dig in my heels, elbow my way past all those who say no or get in my way of living the life I want to live. Heck, I should show up, dig in my heels, and make my own big bang. Perhaps that's how whole universes get started. Thursday, January 12th, 2023. I jumped out of a plane once. I went through the instructions given while we were still on the ground, paying attention, not giving much thought to anything else. When I was all suited up and then sitting at the edge of the airplane, opened wide to the outside, and reality set in, I shit a ton of bricks. But with virtually no time to give it more thought and a bit of a nudge from the instructor, I simultaneously jumped and was shoved or nudged out of the plane. Once I was out, there was not much left or else to do. I could worry about the landing and what could go wrong, or breathe and open my eyes and senses wide to the experience I was having. The journey was finite, and if I let my mind go elsewhere, I would certainly miss this extraordinary experience. Today I wondered if being born and life are like that. You make a decision or a decision is made that you are going to exist. You bask in the womb being made, cells magically splitting, knowing exactly what to do as you become you. Then all of a sudden it's here. The time for you to leave the womb has arrived. You meet this with some or with great trepidation. Perhaps you take the leap entirely on your own. Perhaps you need a bit of a nudge, or you might be taken kicking and screaming. But one way or another, you are thrust into the world. After that, it can be a joyride or a shit show, and there is no escaping the end. There is only one way any birth can end. Everything else, the stuff in between, the way you view or interpret the journey, joyride or shit show, that is up to you. Written while at NRB, Cambridge, Ontario. Friday, January 13th, 2023. I hear people say, you need to make up your mind. Or I will say to myself, I just need to make up my mind. But do I really make up my mind? Or is it already made up? Imagine having a completely blank slate, baby's mind, born into the world, somehow knowing how to suckle and cry if hungry, hurt, uncomfortable, etc. That's about it. But over time, well-intentioned people want to teach you things, show you things, throw paint on your blank canvas. At the end of the day, when I make a decision, am I really making my mind up? At best, I think I'm just reaching into this mishmash of thoughts and ideas that have been bestowed upon me. So whose mind is it really? Mine, or is it communal? And with conscious and subconscious minds too, am I even making decisions, or am I responding to decisions that have already been made? And with all that said, how does one go about changing one's mind? Just something to think about. Saturday, January 14th, 2023. I want to write a book on positivity and optimism, but I'm afraid it will get negative reviews. That is the state of things. I always live my life like a deer in the headlights, afraid to make the next move, lest it be a mistake. I was born like that, quite literally. I was a mistake, and I have been trying to make up for it ever since, by trying to make sure I never make another one. Well, that was a mistake. Not to mention impossible and absolutely exhausting. I feel the exhaustion of it in every cell of my body. It can be paralyzing, and like the deer, a move left or right is better than staring into the bright white lights waiting to be snuffed out. Life, I guess, you can be blinded by it, or it can be illuminating. I am waking up to the fact that I have a right to be here, just because I am. There is nothing I need to fix or do. There's a brilliance in that. Sunday, January 15th, 2023. I am sometimes concerned that I will run out of ideas, have nothing left to blurt. Like I only have a set amount of them, and if I blurt them all out at once, they will be all gone. I sometimes get more than one idea in a day, and I think that if I write it out, that then I will run out or use up all of my ideas sooner. So I put myself on an idea ration, only one allowed per day. Then I am concerned that I might forget the idea that just popped up and must be tucked away, reserved for tomorrow. The logical solution would be to jot it down, a reminder, a snippet, or a small note. But then I wonder, if I come to it tomorrow, the snippet, all out of context, might lose something, may have become stale overnight, the juice of it all dried up, and I would fumble to awkwardly put meat back on bones. I prefer to keep this all spontaneous, which makes it all a little exciting and frightening at the same time. Monday, January 16th, 2023. Sound is a very profound thing. It can be used to soothe, heal, and even torture. Biblically speaking, God brought everything into existence using the spoken word. That said, today I began thinking about the power of the unspoken word. I have a sense that it too has a vibration, a frequency. I was aware at a very young age that if I was in a good, positive mood or feeling quite determined to do a thing, all of it could change rather instantly with even a slight change of thought. I could feel the change viscerally, like someone had poured mood changer, like a liquid over my head, only it was changing me on a cellular level. If I was right on it, I might catch myself mid-thought, or even before the thought began, like I knew what I was about to think before I even thunk it, and I would be able to stop the domino effect, or even stop it from starting in the first place. There is definite communication that takes place between mind, broadcaster, thought, frequency, and our bodies, the receiver. But I suspect other bodies, other people are receivers of our thoughts too. For sure, we have all had experiences when we think of someone and they call, or in this day and age, text. And we sense when someone is looking at us, even from behind. There are instances like these when we know it is more than coincidence. Perhaps when we meet the right person to help us finish our project or that needs our services, etc. It is not a coincidence, but rather a response to a vibration we put out there. Our thoughts or intentions are very powerful things, very powerful. We must mind our minds and be careful gardeners of the thoughts we plant. We are all capable of good vibrations. Tuesday, January 17th, 2023. I still reserve what I am going to write to some degree. Consider the audience, if you will, or protect myself from judgment, or at least try to sway it in a positive direction. As in, I still want to be liked at the end of the day and not leave everyone wondering if I've fallen off of the edge of a flat earth. When I was a teenager, I moved into a foster home that had a hamster. I really took a liking to it. I would rush home from school to take it outside and let it scamper about in the grass. The hamster fascinated me. One day I remember watching it so carefully, so intently, zeroing in on each whisker, every tiny hair, its wee claws, but most of all, its animation. Every move it made was magnetized. It became my whole universe and I disappeared. For all intents and purposes, I became it. A while later, when I came back to myself, I really was aware that something extraordinary had taken place. My consciousness had moved, and I was aware of it. Think of it. Our consciousness is aware of the body and bones we inhabit, but we are not that body and bones. We will leave them one day. So is it not possible that we can, or perhaps already do, move or shift it about and perhaps expand it as well? It's a wonderful world. Let's dare to wake up and shake it up a bit. Wednesday, January 18th, 2023. I am a save the best for last type of person, or perhaps more of a save it to make it last kind of a person. This doesn't work well within my family, at least not for me. If I have a treat I set aside for just the right moment, I will more than likely find it gone when that moment does arrive. I even set aside parcels and gifts until just the right moment. But for my immediate family members, it's always the right moment. There is never any waiting, no time like the present. So what am I trying to save? That's what I pondered today. Just what is it I am trying to save? I have been doing this for a very long time. My earliest memory of this is when I was 5 years old. It was bacon. The flavor of it was all-consuming. I just loved it and wanted it to last forever. I ate it ever so slowly, and when I got to my last bite, I put it in my mouth and just kept it there, sucking on it the whole day. That became a thing I did whenever I got a rare treat. Pop, chips, chocolate. Try to stretch it out and make it last all day. Today, as I think back to when this all started, I am aware that the circumstances of my life at that time were quite stressful and lacked happiness. Preserving and conserving the little bits I did get made sense. I was savoring pleasure and setting pleasurable things aside so I could have something I could count on. But I have somehow turned this savoring of pleasure into a form of torment. At times, I fret about it. Where can I put this so no one else will take it before I'm ready to enjoy it? And God forbid someone should take it and enjoy it themselves. Then I feel frustrated and angry. I can feel my 5-year-old fists curl up and my 5-year-old foot stomp as I chew out whomever it was that took it, admonishing them for their inconsiderate behavior. But what I really mean to say is, how dare you? How dare you take my pleasure? Now what? What will I have to look forward to? That was all the pleasure that there was left in the whole world for me, and I was saving it. There will never be more. You have plenty of pleasure. Why did you have to go and take mine? Why? So, as you can see, I have become a pleasure hoarder, and there is no pleasure in that. For I may busy myself rationing my pleasure while missing out on the pleasure at hand. For who can fully enjoy a sunset if they're thinking, oh no, Joe just went into the house and I left that cookie on the counter. I shouldn't have left it there. He might eat it, etc. I guess I'm learning to not let the sun go down on my pleasure by trying to hold on to it. I can't save this particular sunset for another day, but I can savor today's sunset while it's here. And whether I do or I don't, there will be another day and another sunset. I can take pleasure in that, and it's something I can count on. A side blurt. Wednesday, January 18th, 2023. I have a lot of stuff. Am I keeping the stuff because it might bring me pleasure one day? I already know how that goes. I need something, then I feel a sense of pleasure. Aha! I have one of those. I'm glad I saved it. I knew I would need it one day. Then I go on a hunt to find the thing, and more often than not, regret having spent that much time looking for it. I want to just let go, send it all back into the universe, and trust that the universe has my back. I know this deep down. I want to let that knowing, that feeling rise up in me, let out a great big sigh and start living like that. In the knowledge or wisdom that what I need will be provided when I need it. Like the paper, time, thoughts, and faculties I needed to write this. Thank you, universe.